Okay, apologize, it might not be the best audio or lighting, but we have here a 1984 Yamaha YTM 200E, and we are going to go through the process of doing an oil change. So stick with me. I'm going to take the back rack off and the seat and back fenders, and then we'll get into it. And in case this is your first time doing this, or you have a brand new machine, basically this just folds over the rack. These just screw in there by hand, so take those out, fold the rack back. Your bike may or may not have them. And then to release the back whole section, it all comes off in one. You will see, back in there, a little metal tab right there. It just sticks down. You can reach in there with your hand. I'm just gonna reach back in there, feel around for it. Yep, lift that up. And set this down. Just like so. It lifts out of place. You may have to shimmy it around a little bit to get it up off of there, but that's all you have to do for that. Okay, so once you got your bike opened up, 3 things to take note of. So first, assuming you're sitting on the bike, left-hand side of the engine, go down in here, you'll see back in there, this section right here. I believe it's a 19 mil. We'll confirm that in a moment. I'm just going based on looking on it, but that's your main oil drain. So that's what you'll want to pull out. And just kind of perspective where we are. Yeah, your shifter, your foot peg, and behind your pole, down in there. Okay, so then I'll mosey on over this side. And on the opposing side of the bike, just where you normally check your oil right there. And then I cleaned it up a little bit. 3 hex to hold that little cover on. That's where you're gonna find your oil filter. So we'll get to that in a few minutes. But just give it a clean up a little bit. I tried the oil plug, but it's hard to get into, so I couldn't clean it too much. But I wiped this off a little bit, and I'll wipe that up. But we'll get started here in a minute. So a couple things you'll need to get going. You obviously need to check on your bike specifically, but if you're going on this YTM 200E, I went with 2 1-liter thing of 10 W40. Should serve what I need for it. Just make sure whatever oil you're getting is for a wet clutch. I think my bike reads at about 1.6 quarts, so about 1,500 mils. So 1.5 bottles should be fine on these. And then whichever filter your bike needs. I don't know which mine needs 100%, so I'm just going to see if this one fits it, which I think it will. We're going to find out, though, pretty soon. So let's get started taking that oil in. So I'm pretty sure we're going to need an extension to get in there. And a 19 mil, I'm pretty sure it would be, but we're going to find out here in a second. So I'll do my best to film. This might be a little tricky, but again, just in there, your oil plug. Yeah, feels like a 19 should fit it nice. I'm just gonna work that out. Yeah, you can already see all the dirt and shit. Make sure obviously you got something underneath there. I don't have a real oil pan. I just got this little plastic bucket that should do just fine. And then as soon as you get this off, the oil should start flowing. Sorry. And there goes the oil. Ooh. That needed to be done. Oh, and the nut goes right in there. That's sweet. Okay, I'm gonna grab that out before it gets completely buried. I want that drain here. Okay, so it took a minute just to clean that up nice. Yeah, this bike is old but new to me. I just picked it up a week ago. I would say this is the dirtiest it's ever gonna be. Take pride in your stuff. Clean it up. Don't let it get to this point. It's not needed. So I want that dry or drain, if I can speak. One thing we're gonna do here, go back, grab some paper towel. Give this a little wipe off here. And we'll just loosen this up so there's no vacuum inside, so it can just drain freely. Just leave that sitting there. Let that drain out for another minute or two. And once that's done, we will crack into our oil filter. Okay, so that's still draining a little bit, but we'll get in here. You're gonna notice as well, when you take that plug off, there's a spring and a little mesh filter in there. So I'm just gonna reach in there and grab that. I'm gonna do that my best without getting completely covered in oil, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. It's pretty well drained at this point, just the odd drip. So let's get started on taking that oil filter cap off, change out the filter, and then go from there. So my hex are just so caked up full of crap that I can't get the hex key in there. Hex sockets, I gotta clean all the crap out of those. Probably what I should have done as soon as I got this bike was go to a car wash and give it a good clean down, but it's off the trailer now and in my shed, so I'm not gonna do that until I actually go out with it next. So that should do the trick. And one more thing I'm gonna do quickly. I know this is mostly done, but I'm gonna slide this over, and then, actually, you know what? That might be able to catch the oil drips and also the filter, because keep in mind, as soon as you take this cover off, that's gonna drain some oil out too, but it looks like my bin is big enough that it'll cover both. Cool. Okay, so just got a ratchet and a number 5 hex bit, hex socket. Hopefully it'll fit on there good enough. Make sure it's well on there, otherwise I'm gonna strip this thing out. There we go, nice. It's kind of snug in here when you're working. This tire pretty much is right at the head of the ratchet, so you don't have a whole heck of a lot of extra space to work. I don't exactly love that, but I should also mention as well, I'm not a mechanic, I'm not anything when it comes to doing this kind of shit. I am a finance guy. I work in an office and I do this for fun on the side as of recent. So if you guys see anything that I'm doing that seems incorrect or sketchy, or if you have any tips, let me know in the comments, assuming I ever actually post this video, because I'm learning and have fun with it. So my only worry is that seems so freaking tight. I'm gonna put some WD-40 or something on that, because I really don't want to break that bolt off, because then I'd be pretty euchred. So I'm gonna put some WD-40 on that, let it sit for a minute or two, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so stressful, but I got that one out. I was super worried that was gonna snap off, and yeah, wouldn't have been happy with that. But just took my time with it, let it soak for a couple minutes, and it's still quite a bit of resistance the whole way. It's starting to finally free up, but you'll see now this is the last one that I loosened, so now we see the last bit of the oil in that filter area coming out. So we'll just kind of keep working away on this one, because I'm not going to be able to get that one out by my fingers quite yet. And then when we can, we'll take out the bolts, change out the filter. Okay, so should be able to get most of these out now. So if I'm not mistaken, I think they might be different size bolts here. So size-wise, we got, probably is going to be the shortest one. No, okay. So the shortest one that comes out, top right. Bottom one is a mid-length. And if I had to guess, this back one here is going to be quite long. And it sure is. Oh, shit. To the point where the wheel is in the way. Can I jimmy it out? I don't think so. That sucks. I'm going to play around with it for a minute to see if I can get it out by reefing on this tire just to slip it by just enough to get it out, because it feels like it's pretty close to the end. But I'm not going to do that on the camera, so hopefully I don't have to take this wheel off, because actually, you know what? Even if I can, it's not a big deal. I can access the filter just fine anyway, so we'll just leave it like that. I'll see if I can take it off. If I can, great. If not, we can still access what we need to access from here. No, so we weren't going to be able to do that, so I'm just leaving it on, but we can access the filter. So that just pops out, and well, I'm definitely happy to be changing this because there's a lot of crap in there. But either way, we're here, we're changing it now. I'm gonna wipe out, take a minute while you're doing this, wipe all this shit out in there. Yeah, just wipe all that out, I would think, just in case little metal chunks or any old debris in there. I'm not gonna take too much time with it though. Okay, so I'm gonna go on a limb and say the closed end goes in, because there's actually kind of a little fail safe here. There's a pin that goes through it. So if I put that in like so, and this little, oops, and like that, and this little tab on the inside should just go right through the center there, and she closes, just like that. Hallelujah. I'm gonna go ahead and get those bolts put back in, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we've got the filter in, the cap back on, we've gotten all those tightened. Keep in mind, you don't need to reef on those things, just, you know, snug plus a little bit, and I think you'll be good to go. So let's go on the other side. We'll put our drain, spring, and little mesh filter, and the cap back on, and then we'll go ahead and fill it up. Okay, so again, ratchet, pretty long extension, honestly, and we'll start with the spring and the little filter. I don't know if you can see that. If you can see it, that's awesome. If not, oh wait, yeah, there we go. Yeah, we definitely don't have a ton of space to work. What I'm going to try and do actually is, I don't know for sure if this is going to work, but I put a 17, oh, I forgot my phone's dying, my light's dying, everything's dying. 17 mil socket kind of fits on there. So what I might be able to do, if I prioritize me seeing over you. See, I don't like doing that because I'm going to get a bunch of crap on that, pushing it through the dirt. So let me get back to you. Okay, there was no way I was going to do that while filming. So spring in the little mesh cap, and then the plug is back on, tightened down pretty good. And let's get this thing filled up with 150 milliliters or 1.6 quarts of oil. I'm not going to film all this here because my phone is at 3%. But again, 10W40 oil, you know, read up on what your bike is and what it needs. But definitely something with that's good for a wet clutch. So I'm going to get this filled in, and I'll check in with you guys. I'll show you here. You know, if you have a funnel, great. I think I might have one kicking around. If not, I'm just going to do my best. But yeah, we'll check in here in a minute. Okay, guys. Well, I got it all put back together. And again, sorry I didn't do too much filming when I was pouring it in, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You know, those, I bought 2 quarts, so 1,000 milliliters each. The bike takes 1,500 mils, so I poured a full bottle in there, poured a little bit in the next one, checked it, went about 100 mils at a time to make sure I don't go over. I got the perfect amount in there. So yeah, we got the oil in it, plug back on with the filter in, all those bolts in. We got the main filter, or the main oil plug put back on. I put the fender and seat back on, got the back rack reattached, and that's it. That's really all there is to it. I mean, it's not too much. If I can do it, you guys can figure it out. I'm in a little tiny shed in the winter, not heater or anything, with some pretty, what should I say, basic tools, basic-ish tools. I have the basics of what I need to get by. Leave it in the comments. Again, any thing that I didn't do correct or messed up on, or anything that you'd recommend, or if you know much about these bikes, let me know any cool things about them, because I don't know too much. And if you're in the Ontario area and you're into 3-wheeling, hit me up. I got a couple friends that are kind of scattered through Ontario, and we've taken quite the keen interest to 3-wheeling over the last few months. So we're always just, yeah, looking to meet up with other people and swap stories and learn from each other, and buy 3-wheelers at good prices. So let me know. Alrighty, hopefully this was helpful for you guys. If so, perfect. Enjoy your night. Yeah, just in case you wanted to hear it running, it's pretty well a 1-pull bike, which is pretty sweet. Not necessarily if it's this cold. It might be negative, I don't know, negative 10 or so out now. Not too cold. Celsius minus. Negative 10 Celsius, mind you. But it's been running for like 30 seconds. I choke it. One 1-2 pulls kind of thing. Even in this temperature, it fires up. It likes the choke to be turned off pretty well right away. That's the one question. I feel like I kind of know the answer, but when it's idling, it's a really low light. I'm assuming that's just because it doesn't have enough power to light that. But I'm going to change that out pretty soon to a kind of more modern LED. Seen a friend of mine do that, where you get the exact same size. You can keep all the plastics and everything, and just get a brand new LED bright one. And then I'll do the same with the rear light as well. But yeah, all in all, I'm happy with this bike. My next one, I want to get a Honda. Specifically, I'd like to get ideally a 250 Big Red with reverse, all that good stuff. I did mention pull on this one. It is a YTM 200E, so it does have electric start. I just need to get a battery for it, and I also need to get a battery box. The main bracket on the side of it, which kind of sits in under here, the main metal bracket that bolts into the frame is gone, so I have to either source one of those or just make something. I mean, I have a little welding unit here that I could figure something out to weld it up, but I'd like to get the OEM piece and then get a battery in this and make it a true electric start. But yeah, oil change is done. The bike runs pretty good. I think the next project I'll do, I mean, I already cleaned the carb out. Unfortunately, it's not an OEM carb, so that kind of sucks. I changed the spark plug, and then I just got to figure out, I don't know much about it, but I know it's not a chain, it's a shaft drive bike, so I assume there's some fluids in there I got to change. So I'll do my research on that, read the owner's manual, or whatever manual that might be able to find online for this, and then do that on the next project. But other than that, I feel like it's pretty well good to run and enjoy. Have a good night.